Hey, TikTok, this is for educational purposes only. Please leave me alone, because this is for educational entertainment purposes only. Thank you.
Of phenomenon that if you understand that phenomenon, it's a gateway, a keyhole into a larger understanding. And this is one of those stories, and it's a long story. But for 30, you don't show people the human animal chimera clones they admit they've got. You don't show people that you've got all this weather control that their own documents admit they have. You don't show people you've got antimatter weapons that can blow up the whole solar system. You don't show people all these new free energy propulsion systems they've got. And then you start harassing aircraft and ships with the drones and saying they're aliens, but then you can look at them and then from the leaks we have, know that they're actually man-made, controlled by the United States and the UK. The only two countries that actually are in the club and have this stuff that we know of. Then you got to ask how the United States actually got all this and created the microchip and the transistor before that when nobody else did, and where are they getting the knowledge? And then, I don't know. Some say aliens, interdimensionally, created the microchip and the transistor before that when nobody else did, and where are they getting the knowledge? And then, I don't know. Some say aliens, interdimensionally, gave them the codes. People think of an alien traveling here and so they can just send the message via a radio telescope message, like the movie in the 90s, Species, where the radio telescope picks up a code of DNA. They put it in an egg and plant it in a woman. Looks like a humanoid. It's actually an alien. That's an example of, from the intel I've got, how they're getting it. Radio telescopes, interdimensional communications. That's what they do on the DMT. I told you this before. It was declassified on Joe Rogan 8 years ago. 1 year later, they declassified that indeed the U.S. military and governments were doing DMT drips going back to the 60s, as I told you. The equivalent of interdimensional astronauts who were mapping this and communicating with these aliens who would tell them, okay, bring me 20 kids, slit their throat.
On the drawing board at CERN than what is being admitted. Even Adam Barker of Tech Bubble wrote of CERN a while back that with the LHC, CERN are expecting to find other dimensions and open portals to these dimensions. If you have the image of Stargate in your head right now, you're spot on. That's what he said. And then he went on to draw parallels to the biblical story of Jacob's ladder. Perhaps you remember the dream that says, behold, there was a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. Then Jacob wakes up from his sleep and he says, surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. And he was afraid. And he says, how awesome is this place? This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven, Genesis 28. Now this ladder, described in the first book of the Bible, describes something like a portal from heaven to earth through which God's angels, interdimensional and spiritual beings from another reality, were traveling. When Jacob wakes up, he refers to the location as a gate, much like today's trendy terms gateway or stargate. One of CERN's goals is to recreate Jacob's ladder, according to Barker, and to reopen a portal. Now, Sergio Bertolucci, who is the official director for research and scientific computing at CERN, he was asked a while back about this extra-dimensional doorway by the Register, which is a London and New York operated science and technology journal. And he didn't hesitate with an enlightening response. He said, yes, out of this door might come something, or we might send something through it. Now, prophecy in numerous parts of the Bible refer to a coming day when portals will be opened and spiritual entities are going to pass through and come to the earth. Now, if that's true, and if those verses are accepted for their literal meaning and not written off as some kind of poetic allegory, as some scholars have claimed, then the idea of CERN playing with gateways is a major concern.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
And if, as CERN claims, they're only out to explore space-time matter, particles, and the origin of our known universe and planets from exclusively a scientific or Darwinian-related perspective, if their agenda is unrelated to Bible prophecy entirely, then what is it with all this mystical symbolism that they knowingly are associating themselves with? Wouldn't it be more appropriate for them just to proudly display a polished statue of a particle or some artist depiction of the Big Bang instead of the statue of Shiva? For those who have